Night Scene is brought to you in part by Fantasy Adult Video, with locations in Portland, Tigard, and Missoula, Montana.
Hi, welcome to tonight's show of Night Scene. Tonight's show is going to be a little different because it's going to be about the commitment ceremony of Maryanne and Deborah when they were committed to damage.
Well, that's close, Lanny.
It's real close. I know the two of you.
But actually,
You're welcome.
That's right. But actually, we did have a commitment ceremony. Deborah Keever, my life partner of nearly 8 years, and I decided that in this day and age of Measure 9 and all the things that are going on, that it was important that we validate our relationship to our friends in the community. And so we had a very, very lovely ceremony on August 29th. And I would like to say some special thanks to some people that helped make this a wonderful event for us, and all the nearly 100 people that were here, and it was a lovely summer day. And those people are, of course, our own director of Night Scene, David Evans, who sang basically for the first time among all these people and did a wonderful job. Carolyn Hulbert, who played the piano for him and the ceremony. And then we had a very renowned piano player, Ava Williams, come in and play for the rest of the afternoon. She's played on Broadway for over 60 years, and she was just marvelous. And we had some video people that helped out. In fact, the video you're going to be seeing was taken by these individuals. One was Paige Tashner, and the other was Karen Birch from Salem, who is one of the assistant sponsors for Night Scene down there. And the photographer who took all the wonderful pictures of our ceremony is the well-known Pat Pollock of the gay community, and is also a professional photographer in her own right. Deborah, would you like to say a few words as well as what happened?
How did you like the ceremony? How did you feel about it?
I really enjoyed it. I was glad that we did it, even though I think we spent a lot of time getting ready for it and a lot of effort went into it. I really enjoyed it. And waking up that next morning, there was something different after going through the ceremony. And even though we were still in our same house and here together, it was really nice.
I sometimes wonder, how do you see this as a sort of a response to the heterosexual marriage ceremony? Is there a similarity? Is it an answer, sort of a gay answer to it, or is it really different?
Well, actually, Robert Hill asked us that question after the ceremony, because he went around and also helped interview folks at the ceremony. And all I can say to your answer, Lanny, is that we...
That's my question.
To your question. That's right, Lanny. Yeah. You got me for one. That's one for Lanny. Is that we weren't doing it to mimic the heterosexual marriage. We were doing it because we valued our relationship, and we wanted to confirm that to not only ourselves but to our friends. And I think that a lot of people are afraid to either show that kind of relationship and think that that's what others will feel about them, that they're mimicking the heterosexual marriage. But I think that we have a right to say we are proud of our relationships, and when we do this, we are affirming to the rest of the community and to the world, as far as that goes, that we do have permanent relationships.
You buy that?
Yeah, and I think one of the things when Robert asked us that question is that us with the child, I think it made it a little different situation. For Park, I think that it made him realize that we're here in a committed relationship. We're here to raise him through life, and I think that was important to announce that to the world, so that he realized that our relationship is solid.
And he was definitely a part of the whole relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He was brought in, and we gave him a little earring that looked exactly like our wedding bands that we had made. These rings here, we've already had the first ring, and we had these made, and we had a little earring made for him. He had his ear pierced just for this ceremony. Of course, now he's paying the price in society and in school, because the other kids are calling him gay because he has an earring, which is not pleasant for him. But he was definitely a part of it. And I also must thank Linda Elliott, who performed the ceremony. I think that she was just a wonderful person, and in fact, she had a little saying that she gave to us at the end, which was an Apache prayer. And it was really kind of neat to have that said to us because it had so much meaning. And it has a lot of meaning to the Native American here in this country. And to bring that into our relationship was like, wow, we're just really a part of this whole earth. And so I think the whole ceremony, the people that came to it, really were touched and felt that, yes, this is something that maybe more of us in the community should do.
Well, enough of the idle chit-chat. I'm sure you'd like to see it and what it was all about. So now, the Night Scene cameras takes you to the commitment ceremony of Maryanne and Deborah.
Somewhere out there, beneath the pale moonlight, someone's thinking of me and loving me tonight. Somewhere out there, someone saying a prayer that we'll find one another, that great somewhere out there. And even though I know how very far apart we are, it helps to think we might be wishing on that same bright star. And when the morning starts to sing its lonesome lullaby, it helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky. Somewhere out there, if love can see us through, then we'll be together. Somewhere out there, where dreams come true.
Deborah and Maryanne, thank you for joining them this afternoon. It is important that the community gather, for we are honoring today not just the love that Maryanne and Deborah celebrate, but the foundation of love built through the years with family and friends upon which their love could be planted and grow and blossom. The nurture of these two persons has helped bring this moment and this meaning into being. So even as you embrace them in joy, they embrace you in gratitude and love.
As we dream, hope, and plan for the future, encouraging each other to become all that we can, I'm happy in traveling through life with you. You are my friend, my partner, and my love.
From this day forward, I will be by your side to comfort you and listen to your deepest concerns. I will make you laugh when you're feeling blue. I will honor and respect you as an individual, knowing that we must each be allowed our own differences. I will be with you from this day forward. I will give to you freely of my love. I will share my bed only with you for our sincere and secure sleep and explosive passions. I, as your lover, your best friend. On this day, our lives are set on a similar path, similar because we must each be allowed to grow, and therefore may take different side roads in order to reach the same destination. Yet, whether the paths turn or twists or smoothly goes, I will be with you as you with me. I offer my pledge to make this a glorious masterpiece, this commitment I make to our love, to our family, and to ourselves. I look forward with great joy and anticipation to our lives together. I want to walk into the sunset of our twilight years with you, hand in hand, forever and a day. And in that twilight time, I want to share the joy of our own son's children. I want to look back and smile at all the wonderful things we have shared and be able to say, remember when? And finally to you, Deborah, know that what I am doing on this 29th day of August, 1992 is done truly out of love. It's about two strong, responsible, caring people embarking on a marvelous journey. Know you that I do it willingly, without reservation. I accept this great and honorable adventure we are about to begin. And may the sweet music of our love play on forever. I love you.
Love is never gone as we travel on. Love's what we'll remember. Kiss today goodbye and point me towards tomorrow. We did what we had to do. Can't forget, can't regret what I did for love. Love is never gone as we travel on. Love's what we'll remember. Kiss today goodbye and point me towards tomorrow. We did what we had to do. Can't forget, can't regret what I did for love. What I did for love. What I did for love.
You can be home.
Have you been to many ceremonies like this before?
Actually, no. I've been to a couple, and probably the ones that leap to mind is a whole series of kind of en masse commitment ceremonies that happened on a women's cruise that we were on last Thanksgiving down in Baja.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was wonderful.
How many people do they do at one time?
Yeah, a couple hundred.
Kind of like Reverend Sun Young Moon.
Yeah, and then they all jumped off
20
like lemmings off the back of the boat.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think that there's a lot of division, I'm sure you're aware, in the gay community as to whether or not we should be following the path set out by heterosexuals and joining in these ceremonies when they really don't have any significance beyond the commitment that you make to each other. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that, first of all, we ought to get, this is wonderful. And especially anytime you can have free drinks and free food, hey, I'm there.
Hey, exactly.
Yeah, you know,
I
you
know
just tell me, I'm there.
Exactly.
But, no, I look forward to the day when the Internal Revenue Service and the Oregon Department of Revenue recognize our commitment. And, because I'll tell you, we pay and we pay and we pay. So that would be the most wonderful kind of acknowledgement that society could bestow on us. Other than that, I think these kinds of events are wonderful for us.
Exactly.
And if it feels good to us and it feels good for us, then I think we ought to do it. And if it doesn't make us feel good, then hell no, what are we doing spending our time that way? But I'm having a wonderful time. I think the world of Maryanne and Deborah, and so I'm very glad to be here and take time out of campaigning to come and celebrate with them, because it's a great celebration.
Exactly. So when can we expect invitations to your bash? I bet there'll be some great liquor there. How do you feel about gay people partaking in celebrations of this kind?
Oh, I love them. I hope someday I get to walk down the aisle like that.
Exactly.
I'm pretty committed to committed relationships. Actually, I've gone to 3 of them just in the last 4 months.
Oh, really? Were they all women or men?
No. There was one ceremony that was men. That was in Seattle, and there's been 3 down here actually in the last 4 months of women. I think it gives a stable relationship, especially if they have children, that they know that it's mom and mom or dad and dad. And it's something that shows that the gay community is maturing, that they're going on with their lives, and it doesn't say that we're exactly like the straight community. It's just recognizing that I love that other person so much that I'm willing in front of all of my friends to say, I'm staying with this person.
We're sitting here with Darcel 15. For those of you who've never seen her out of a wig and a dress,
Hey.
This is what she looks like normally. How are you doing, Walter?
I'm doing fine, thank you very much.
Good. We were out here for the commitment hearing this afternoon. I mean, commitment ceremony.
The commitment hearing!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You're
I've
drunk.
already pulled
You're
that
drunk.
line a
I
couple-
understand.
Drunk? I've only had orange juice, for Christ's sake. Have you tried those watermelon daiquiris over there?
No, but I'm on my way.
Oh, they're quite healthy.
But they wouldn't give you one, would they?
No, they gave Rock a few of them. You have to pull him out
Listen,
from
they
the
wouldn't
table
give
over
you
there.
one, would they?
No,
A watermelon? No,
No, they told me to take a watermelon and get away from
And
here,
go.
so they told
Yeah.
me. But anyway, how did you enjoy the ceremony?
Well, it was wonderful, pretty.
Have you been to many of these over the years, these types of ceremonies?
No.
No, you haven't. I'm surprised.
Are you?
Is that, I would think that you of all people would get invited to a lot of things like this, free food, free booze.
What you're saying is that not only would I get invited, but I would take advantage of that.
No.
The shrimp were absolutely excellent today.
Exactly, really good. I was wondering, though.
No, I really don't get in. I really don't. I've been to about 3 or 4. And not because I have not gone, and if I've been invited. It's just that I don't know a lot of people that do this. I think it's beautiful when they do. Roxy and I have been together for 28 years or so. We haven't done this. We're very committed to each other, and we have a family. We are a family,
right.
And we are committed to each other without this. Right. So, but I don't know a lot of people in the community that do this. Right. Maybe you know more than I do.
No, not necessarily, but I'm interested to know why you and Rock have not done that.
Why we haven't?
Yeah, I've heard people say that this is something to be able to stand up to your friends and say, I love this person, and I'm making a commitment to this person.
God. Oh my God. I think that there isn't a person in this world that doesn't know me and doesn't know Rock.
Right.
That we are totally committed and totally. We have we're friends, we're companions, we work together, we drag together.
Right.
The family that drags together stays together.
Right.
I think our commitment has been so totally together through the whole year, so that, and our friends all know this, that for some of us, we don't need a display to say that.
Right.
But it's lovely to be a part of them. I've sang at a couple of them at community church, Metropolitan Community Church, and that was wonderful fun too. I've just never felt the need. You know?
Right.
In fact, if you ask me an anniversary date, I couldn't remember. We don't even have an anniversary.
Really? After 28 years?
We just know we've been together for a long time.
Okay.
How do we know it's 28 years?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know the date. You know, some people know September the 1st we met and our eyes met across the room and that kind of thing. We don't know those things.
I guess some people look at
I think I was out of a dress then.
Well, I think so.
But I look lovely.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Can you see the flowers? Because we have a table setting here.
I was wondering, you know, some people need this type of thing for a sense of validation. You know.
Oh, no. Yeah. Listen, wait a minute. You're talking to a person who wears a dress sometimes 7 days a week, who knows who they are inside.
Right.
If you have to do it, if I had to do it as a display to validate who I am, no. Who I am, I know already. You can't do what I do 7 days a week and not know who you are inside. You have to be tight and sure of who you are. Yeah.
Well, if you ever do decide to throw, I know it'd be one hell of a party, especially some booze and lots of food. The food would be fabulous, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the food would be wonderful. The food was nice today.
It was very nice.
Should we give a plug?
I think we should.
Food and Bloom.
Food and Bloom, and I don't know the lady's name, the caterer.
Judy, I believe.
Judy?
She's catering Le Femme Magnifique Sunday.
Oh, is she? That's right, Le Femme Magnifique Sunday. How's that going, by the way?
Just wonderful. Fine, thank you.
Good. Well, by the time this airs, we already have Le Femme Magnifique. So I guess we can't give you a plug and drag people out there to see it.
It's okay, but we have 7 states represented.
Wow, it's gotten quite large, has it not? It's growing. Maybe it'll be Le Femme Magnifique of the West Coast pretty soon.
No, it's already international.
International? Hell, I'll have to throw my hat in the ring. Do you get any money and furs like the real queens?
From who? From who you're going to get money in furs? You're not taking my furs and you're not getting my money.
Okay, that's it. I've already lost. Here we are talking to, I've been dying to ask this question. Maryanne's mouthful of food. Maybe I can get a word in edgewise.
That's the time to do it. That is definitely
You have learned, huh?
I have learned.
You have learned.
Just give her good food and she shuts up.
Now, I need to ask a question while Maryanne's mouth is still full. Who, in this kind of a ceremony, who is the bride? You were the bride. Well, I kind of noticed both of you were in white. I was expecting somebody to kind of throw you up there at her or something and say, here, she's yours.
Well, the groom stands on the
on the right. You know, of course, I've never been to a marriage ceremony. I have a hard time with, I carry my baseball bat and handcuffs around.
Stand up in the audience and say something when they ask.
I was going to stand up and scream when they asked about, does anybody object to this ceremony? I was going to say, of course I object. There's no man up there. That was
We're waiting for you. We paused. You know, I can hear everybody pausing, waiting for that.
I was trying hard to listen to I was standing next to Darcel watching her practically drop her wine glass on the cement. She didn't drop, right during the moment where the rings are being exchanged. She's fumbling with her wine glass, practically dropped it. And I thought, whoo, quick catch, Darcel. That would have been just terrible, breaking glass in the background. You know, I've been around and I've talked to a few people and I was trying to find out, you know, what makes a gay couple want to engage in this kind of a ceremony. And I said, some people have said that that's not something they personally would do, but they enjoy coming to celebrate this kind of a union with other people. And I thought to myself, is this something that I would want to do? And it almost seems like, in my mind, that this kind of a ceremony buys into a heterosexual tradition when I feel gay people are different. How do you respond to that kind of a question?
It's yours. Go ahead, my mouth's still full.
Oh, it is not. Well, I think that we picked and choose what we felt was appropriate for us, and that we didn't buy into everything that was what a heterosexual society would have done or a heterosexual community would have done. We basically picked things that felt right for us and went with that. And I think it's important. You know, we're not recognized, you know, very often as a couple, and I think it's important to say we are a couple. This is who we are, and to have that opportunity and to identify in that situation with your friends and family together. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and in no manner are we trying to say that we're married. We realize we're not, but it's important to say we are committed to each other. We're committed to ourselves and to our family unit, and I think that's important. George Bush wouldn't recognize this as a family unit.
Exactly. I talked to Park. He said George Bush was a bigot.
Yeah, he knows.
I said,
those words
we
down.
know where you get your politics.
Yes, yes.
Definitely family influence there.
But one more thing, I think that when people commit, whether they're heterosexual or homosexual, it's saying that they believe that the two of them are in a relationship, and it makes that relationship valid in the eyes of everyone. And the people that we invited to this ceremony, you know, at least a third of the people here are straight.
Exactly.
And then there's gay men and there's gay women in couples and singles and whatever. And they are a part of our community, and the bigger we make our outreach to try to show to people in the heterosexual community that we are similar in our desires and our needs, that relationships are important, that it's valid, and there's nothing strange or corrupt or just sexual about it. And that's
abnormal,
really,
as the OCA would like to say.
Right, and I think that the people that were here today, that are still here and enjoying themselves, can see that we are not doing abnormal things. We are not cavorting and doing all those things that they would figure we should be doing, you know, because we are people that have values and different traits, of course, and in our lives, it's just an important thing that we see. There are people who live together in the heterosexual community that never get married, but after so many years, and it's considered, what do they call that?
Legally married by common law.
Common law.
Right.
Common law. And thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, from the outskirts. And they don't get married, and I don't know if they're buying into anything, but they see their relationship as being valid.
Right.
And that's what we were doing. We wanted our friends and our family that we had here to say, gee, you know, they really do have some things that are important here, and they're trying to share that with everybody else.
I talked to the minister a little while ago about how do you prepare a couple for a ceremony like this, and how did you prepare your son? I talked to Park, and you know, he said that he loved both of you very, very much. I had always assumed that Park was Deborah's son.
That's a common mistake.
I had
Very
no,
common.
I was completely shocked.
Blonde hair.
I was, because maybe it's because of your hair color, and because I had always seen Park with Deborah, and I had associated him with as being your son.
Yeah.
And then I mistaken your brother for being your son.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
You're not the only one. I had 2 of those.
Okay, good. So I'm pretty bad at this all the way around.
Yeah.
But I talked to Park a minute, you know, and he felt like this was a good thing. He felt like it solidified his family. No, he didn't use the word solidified, but, you know, in so many words, felt like it solidified his family. How do you prepare Park? And what do you say to, if your parents are still alive, if they were here, or if they couldn't come, or how did they respond to something like this, or other family members or friends?
Well, my family would not be here because they don't accept me as a valid person. I mean, it's like, oh, you're just like the other kids. My mother's the only one living now, and I wouldn't want them here because we decided that with that kind of attitude that it would be hypocritical to ask them to come.
Right.
And they've known about my sexual orientation for nearly 20-some years. And it isn't a phase that I'm going through. I was born this way, and it's their loss that they feel that way. So I did not even tell them about this. And as far as Park, we asked him if he would like to be included in the ceremony, and he said yes. He thinks it's very important. We have tried to raise Park to understand, as we said, that there are differences in people, and you have to be at least open and aware of people's differences, and don't have the prejudices that are already out there. We have enough of those. And so he really wanted to participate. And then we
encouraged that.
We wrote our vows, and we picked out some special things for Park, which you heard, and a special song. Actually, that song was written for Carly Simon's child.
Oh, really?
So that was
real
a very lovely
appropriate.
song. And you know, we wanted to include him because he's always been a part of our family. Deborah's been with us, Park and myself, since he was just 2. So, and he's 9 now. So his
So he
formative
doesn't
years
remember
is
Right.
with 2
when I
moms.
wasn't here.
Wasn't here,
It was
exactly.
2 moms.
Yeah.
Now he knows that he was conceived through artificial insemination. That is not a secret.
Right.
You know, he will tell his other classmates that he doesn't have a father, he has a donor, and they go, huh? So, you know, it's one of those things that he's always been included and always been told the truth.
You know, he seems to be, and a credit to both of you, an extremely bright and intelligent little boy. And I was talking to him, and one of the things I asked him is how do you deal with your friends, and what do you say to them when you have to explain that you have 2 moms? And how do you overcome what must be a tremendous amount of pressure? Because, you know, my dad took me fishing last weekend, or my dad and I go do this, and I'd like to say I have a father and a mother, and my father never took me anywhere.
Yeah.
So, you know, just to have a father doesn't mean anything.
That's right.
So we can clear that point up. But how do you help him cope with those kind of things on a daily basis?
I think part of it is being involved in his school and being involved in the activities involved in, because part of what happens is those kids, as they see you and realize that you're not just gay, or you're not just his mom, there's a face, and this is who you are, they positively identify with us. We co-coached his soccer team last year. I think getting involved in the activities that we get involved in, that Park is active in, keeps maybe the discrimination that he would face otherwise to a minimal, because they realize that we're great people. We're not your standard moms. We're kind of fun to be with. The kids, I think, had a good time on the soccer team. I've gone on field trips with Park. He calls me Deborah, so they realize that, well, it's not exactly his mom, but somewhere she fits in there. And they're fine. You know, he's faced some prejudice. I don't think that we can, you know, say that he hasn't. But I think he's dealt with it all very well. And I think, you know, we keep trying to keep that a positive situation for him.
I would like to propose a toast to Merles and my very, 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 very close friends. And it's a very simple toast. May you be as happy for every day of the rest of your life as you are today.
Thank you.
NightScene is brought to you in part by Fantasy Adult Video, with locations in Portland, Tigard, and Missoula, Montana.